In my opinion, Genesis, let me tell you the background here. There's a definite trend change that happens every day this week at Genesis time frame from 11:30 to 12:30 time frame. And it's very easy to see. And so you got to say, well, why is it happening then? Well, this is why, in my opinion. I think that because they're taking a vote every day between 10:30 and 11:30 to see if they open or shut down the government. And I think that's why you're getting a trend change into that time period. We'll see if they got a vote today. And I think that we're sitting there looking at a situation that I guess every day they're measuring how many Democrats come over for the continuing resolution. I thought that by early next week they ought to solve this thing. That's what I'm thinking right now. I don't know. That's just an opinion, though. Okay, we'll see how the information unfolds from here, but that's what it feels like to me. Okay, feels like to me, in my opinion. Now we've made an XSP trade in our SPX program. This is a situation. This is a situation where I'll book a profit. If you want to hold it to the close and watch it, you can. Expires today worthless. And so that's up to you to take it. Once I get you on the right side, my thought process is my job's over and it's your job to manage it. And that's why I spend so much time educating. But that's a trade that we booked in our SPX zero room. And who made that trade? Let me ask that question. Who made that trade? Did you like the fact there wasn't a lot of pain and suffering making that trade? I like trades like that. Okay? I like trades like that. We put it on yesterday, take it off today. We'll get set up to do another one this afternoon. Yeah, to me, I don't like the emotional stuff that goes in for those last few pennies, and then I can go do another one this afternoon. Way to go, Dave. David's had quite a run since he left the small class. Way to go, David. Now we did another trade in the SPX program, made 10% on this one. This was a buzz fly. How many people like this style of trading where I can put you into a trade and you make 10% like that? Not much pain and suffering there either. Pretty good stuff, huh? This was just a straight, Romy, this is a just buy a call with a buzz fly. That's what that works. Okay. John, what program or what, let me ask this question, John. What brokerage firm, swap? Yeah, it's an easier trade to put on Thinkorswim, honestly. It's a lot easier to put on Thinkorswim, just point and click. And I always get filled on Thinkorswim with it, okay? Very nice and comfortable. All right, so that's what we booked, I guess, this morning, right? So we hadn't got started in October, and I'm putting the odds in my favor, aren't I? 5-0. And I'm going to show you something else that I've had Jonathan working on today for education that gives us, that period of time once we finish a month and we wait for the 3 days. I figured out how to get paid while we're waiting. Y'all like that idea? I like, coming up with ways to make money. And so, when you finish 1 month, start another month, you sort of got a little thing. But I showed Jonathan today, and we're going to start looking at it. Okay. Yeah, Gwen, I would open a $2,000 account with Tasty Trade. Jonathan to give you the referral. You'll be a lot happier putting option trades in there. Did y'all see where Tasty Trade is going 24 hours? Did y'all see that on stocks? They announced that this morning. That's a pretty good announcement. So that makes Interactive Brokers, and I bet you they'll let you trade the SPX at night. I bet you they'll do that. Schwab, I think Hood does it, and Interactive Brokers does. There's 4 now that do it. All right. No, Tasty is going 24 hours. Interactive Brokers has always been there. If you need a referral for Tasty Trade, here are 2 parts. Send Jonathan an email, okay? Make sure your name's in there because we're tracking who opens Tasty Trade accounts, and Jonathan's keeping a list. Might have a little special prize for everybody that does that, okay? Always think it. My retirement center, we'll have a meeting day at 2, and we'll review everything there. This is the 3rd day of the month. We'll review where we are, what's in there, any changes that we're going to make. We do that at 2. At 3 o'clock, we'll have the weekly wrap up. Chuck, have you listened to our option program? Are you a member or are you new? Okay. If you join any of our programs, we'll give you an option course, but here's the gist of it. You take a directional play by buying it, buying a call or buying a put. You sell a spread, normal vertical spread. Now you got a spread. And then what we do is we sell another leg of our target at a tighter spread than what took us to get there. We'll demonstrate one to you today where you can see it. It's easy to see. I haven't seen exactly what they're offering, but we'll look at it when it happens. All right, our weekly newsletter will be out Monday. This is an annual subscription, $9.99. Sort of tells you the summary for each week. And Chuck does a report on Wednesdays, sort of making sure everybody's focused on where to make money. That's the important thing. Yeah, it's $9.99. All right, welcome to Train and Trade, 11 o'clock Eastern. Now, all trades we do inside here are tracked through T-Buzz Talk and Trade. That increases the value of T-Buzz Talk and Trade to people that want to have additional insights to trades that we make. We post follow-ups and keep track of it inside the Talk and Trade channel, which is a 24-hour market. It has so much inside there. Today, we'll talk a little bit about it because I think that people are missing out not being a member of T-Buzz Talk and Trade. Everybody, anytime I have a small class or anytime I'm in front of people, they said, you got to insist people get into T-Buzz Talk and Trade. And I said, I try. I mean, it's a way I can reach out to you around the clock. That ought to be worth at least $200 a month for that. A premier program, says SP. It is a premier program. A lot of money being made there. And a lot of education. I like the education there. We keep up with the money maker 4 times a day, Asia, Europe, US early, US debt, giving you pivot numbers for each time zone. I mean, it's really some, I mean, let me tell you, if I'm out for a couple hours, I'll go look at T-Buzz Talk and Trade because Chuck keeps it updated and allows us to take advantage of things. Go to dtitrader.com/TNT. All right, our day's focus is building this 3-day list spreadsheet with the trade tracker. I'm gonna let Jonathan take over and listen in. These are stocks that we think that might make you some money. And we keep up with it every day and update it every day. And this was the beautiful part. Once you have that link, if you happen to miss, it'll be updated the next time you look at it. You ought to save it on your desktop, I guess, right, Jonathan? Save that link on the desktop. That way, all you got to do is click it and bring it up.
Yeah, that's what I would recommend. Yeah, sure would.
I'm gonna get you to do it for me too. I thought of that while I was waiting. Instead of, I can just go click it. Click it.
All right, let me post the slides for today because the spreadsheet is going to be on one of the slides. Let me figure out which slide that number that is. That's number 13. Okay, today is October 3rd. Today is the third trade day of the month, right? Everybody agree with that? So we're not quite done finishing out the 3-day high and low.
It'd take quite a drop to take out the monthly open, wouldn't it?
Yeah, it would. And I'm going to update this here in just a second. With the month high and low, and the month high and low right now is, is the currently the first 3 days high and low. We're just not finished with the trade day yet. Okay. Now, that's what we got so far. When the 3 days are done after today, hang on, let me update when it was updated. When the 3 days are done at the end of today, the month high and low will be shifted over here to the FTD high and low. And then I'll drag these columns over, which will tell us if right now they don't mean anything, but when these are pulled over here, the columns will tell us if the current price is above the 3-day high or if the current price is below the 3-day high low. Now, of course, none of it's going to be that situation right now because we're still forming the 3 days. So you know how the market works. You're never going to be right at the high or right at new highs. Most likely you're going to be somewhere below the high and somewhere above the low. So that's what all these are right now. But once the 3 days high and low are set and won't be changing anymore, that'll be the start of next week. The 3 days will be set and won't change anymore. Then we'll have a chance for the market to break out of that range to the upside or break down to the downside. Any questions on that? The way you bookmark this, I'm on Google Chrome, but every browser is somewhat similar. Chrome has a star at the top right that you can click, and it saves a bookmark to your browser. And Microsoft Edge has something very similar, a star, bookmarks it to your browser. And once you bookmark it, you can actually see on this page, I got tons of bookmarks right here. All right. So just look across the top of your browser for that bookmark. You can even name it whatever you want to name it. All right, so I'm going to bring over a different spreadsheet. Tom asked me to do a study with the tickers from last month. And let me make sure you can see this. Yeah, you can see that this is the ticker sheet from last month, and I just duplicated a tab at the bottom. And for this, because of lack of time, we're just going to look at the stocks that are long. And we are in the bull market, so that'll be just fine. The first column here, and by the way, this was updated, I don't know, October 3rd, around 11/11 or so, in terms of the last or current price. All right, so that current price right there was updated at 11/11 or so. Okay. This column here means that our September stocks at today's price are still above the September 3-day high. Now, does that make sense to everybody? This is September spreadsheet, and we're comparing the current price to last month's 3-day high. All right, and if this column H says long, those stocks are still above their 3-day high from last month. All right, this is a special study that Tom wanted to do today. It's brand new. Let's just go follow along. All right, so all these stocks down this one, whatever color green you call that, are above their high from the 3 days last month. This extra column I added are the stocks and or futures that are above their high from Monday. The WS stands for the week start. In this case, Monday was a trade day, so those stocks are above Monday's high. Does everybody understand that? And by the way, we call it week start in case Monday's a holiday. Or, you have some Monday holidays, so the week start on those weeks would be Tuesday, but it's Monday's high for this week. So we can see stocks that are kind of continuing their trend from last month into this week. Does that make sense? All right, pretty straightforward, connecting the dots. Keep it simple. That's what Tom always does. All right. Okay, good deal. So Tom, here's your list of stocks from last month that are still above their 3-day high from September, and they're above the week start from this week. And we'll get your thoughts on it here. Ones that say
So
long,
my
long,
thought
or both.
process, here's my thought process, how to use that. If you've got, let's just take an example. Let's just take a good deal. Let's take MU. Everybody see MU? Circle MU.
MU. Okay, MU right here.
Okay, you can see it's very bullish. What I would do, thought process, is go look at a compass chart on MU today.
All right, let's do that. Bring in the roadmap. All right, this is a 30-minute chart of MU, looking good this morning.
Okay, so if you look at MU, it's made a higher reference bar 3. Does everybody see that? All right, so here's what you would do. Look at that. What's the average true range of MU?
$6.85.
All right, what's the low of MU today?
$1 or 184.92.
So if you add, what did you say, 685?
685. Yep.
So about 191.5 to 192 would be the target. Now, this is looking at it. You would have saw this and been alerted to the fact, hey, I'm watching MU today. I could get in MU and make some money. If you say, $3 up or whatever, and you take it. You actually could have got in the pre-market above the 7 o'clock reference bar. Circle that for everybody to see.
The 7 a.m. reference bar is this white bar right here.
And what's the high of that?
So your roadmap has it as 185.70. 185.
How would you like to buy MU? I'm just going to ask the question. Okay. I would like to ask a question. How would you like to buy MU this morning at 7 o'clock Eastern, 7:30 Eastern time, and make $5 while everybody else is trying to figure out what MU is doing? Did everybody follow my thinking how to use that? I call it the transition time period. That ought to make you smile. Who's smiling now because you're here with me? David's smiling. Look what David did. Type what David did. I got David smiling. Wow, David. I think being familiar and following Dennis or following Silver he's a dentist, following Silver your whole career, you're really making more dollars now than using it in the dentist industry. Way to go. Debbie's smiling. She was there in the class with you. Way to go. That's good. Way to go, Jennifer. She was at the class too. Must pay to come face to face. That just makes me feel so good. Y'all are all making my day seeing that stuff. But does everybody, the lesson of the day is something that we'll keep up with in this transition period from now on to try to spot some of these early movers like that. Okay? All right, that's good stuff. Okay. Way to go, Romy. Good job. You saw my post, didn't you? All right. That's great, John. I think we got the point across I was trying to get across because sometimes you got some stuff and you sit there and you say, here's something I'm watching. I might as well share it in the early stages where people can use it.
Yeah, I think it's great. And it's a way to, everybody can take the spreadsheet from last month and you don't have to throw it aside. You can utilize it at the start of the next month until we get the new 3 days going and, into that next week. I posted the slides again from this morning. Then I posted the October spreadsheet. And just to be clear, the October spreadsheet is a spreadsheet. It's the new one. It's the current. We will be updating that one daily. All right. So if you're going to save only one spreadsheet, be sure to save the October. Then I posted the September spreadsheet, which is the old spreadsheet from last month. Now, I looked at it and we looked at it today, and I did update it today to showcase Tom's insights there. But just to be clear, we will not be updating the September spreadsheet anymore. All right, next month or next week, we'll be on the October spreadsheet. We'll have our first 3 days to utilize, and we'll have a new week start, right? Because next week starts a new week. So again, if you're going to save one of the spreadsheets, save the October. But if you're, doing some study over the weekend and you want to review that September sheet, be sure to grab that one too. That makes sense, everybody? Everybody understand? If you're going to save one spreadsheet, save the October. Of course, we'll be sharing the October spreadsheet at the training trade sessions, as we go throughout October, like we always do. Okay, Tom. Let me get back to the slides here.
Back to the slides.
There's your 191.75 on the Micron.
I love learning new things, and this is something I started thinking about because I wanted to take the process that we developed and just expand it for that no man's land from the last day of the month to the first 3 days. That's the way I'd use it. Now, here are the 5 must knows about the market each day. I give these 5 insights to everybody every day. Based on all my experience, I try to tee up some of the 5 things you got to know. Pay attention. Projected tops and bottoms in the market for today. We update this 4 times a day through the moneymaker. Today's projected top was 67.95. Now, if you go look at D-mini, the actual high was 67.95. We gave that to you last time. That's got to help you as a trader to know where we think resistance is going to be and where all these different tickers follow. Does that help everybody else posting this stuff? I need to know. It's a lot of work to do it, but I'm including it 3 to 5 times a day throughout the T&T room. Okay, good. And our projected low was 67.45. We haven't updated that because we're taking profits this morning on that one. That's the beautiful thing about having a plan starting out in the evening. Okay.
And speaking of updating that, Tom, what number do you want to use now for that moneymaker?
I would use the cash low, probably 67.75 area, my pivot number. Maybe 72, one of those two. I think 72 was RB3 open. I'd use 72.
And to the upside?
It's the next number up is 68.05.
All right, thank you. Well, that alone should be quite the value for everybody.
That alone took me 40 years to figure out, and I put it inside T&T. Now, it probably wouldn't be worth that much money, but the accuracy of that is about as good as you're going to get anywhere in the world. Now, that's my opinion. I got that opinion talking to students. They tell me about it. Those who've been with me for a while, ask Jim. Jim, let me ask you. Jim, is that an accurate statement that you won't find any better numbers in the world than what I give you in that T&T room? He just said yes. Put him under pressure to get it, but no, I'm kidding. Okay. Know the pivot from each time zone during the day. There's 4 major time zones. First of all, Asia, Europe. This is the Asian. RB1's Asia. Put Asia out there. You got it. Oh, you already got it. Asia, Europe, 67.83. U.S. morning, which is the zone we're in right now, is 67.71. And we post that for pivot numbers for every ticker we're following. For example, if you look at silver, follow silver, 46.86, 47.23, 47.71. If you connect those 3 dots, what does it tell you about silver? If you connect those 3 dots on silver, it's going up. Silver right now is 48.30. That's why David learned that at the class, and he's using it. And you saw David, what was it? What'd you make today? 4,000 or 5,000, something like that. He's on scholarship. It's just pretty great. You take stocks, you can do anything that way. Okay. Yeah, 2 trades you made. Perfect. Now, I publish a daily pivot. My day pivot today was 67.75. That's a combination of everything I saw, and there it is right there. If you get up in the morning, it's right there for you. And you can see it says on his time 4:04, but it's about 5:04 this morning when I published it. I get up every day usually about that time when I post it. And it's a valid pivot to get you further into the day. Now here's something when I started TNT, I thought, wouldn't it be great if I could help people by giving the names that I'm trading? I know in the morning the names I'm trading. And here's how you use it. Where's gold trading right now? GLD. Somebody tell me where gold's trading right now. That's my top pick of the day. About $2 up on that one. Palantir's pivot was 187.55. And if you go look at Palantir right now, it's down because of news, and it would have kept you out of Palantir's at 180. So I'm saving people money with Palantir. SPY, you're bullish. QQQ, you're bullish. Pretty good stuff, I think, to have that each and every day. Now, also, if I think of things that you might need to know, and this is something that I've taught in the past, but it came to me today to try to estimate where I thought silver was going to top out. So I used an old way that we did. And this was a special insight day for silver because I was trading silver and I knew other people were trading silver. So here's what I posted daily inside the channel. Let's look at all the postings from today. Keep you on the right side of the market. Let's do it.
Yep. Yeah, I got the silver one in there just a little bit down the road, Tom.
That wasn't good timing for me to talk about it then, huh? Okay. That's fine. All right, the first thing I do, this starts out my day in the morning. I post the overnight trading. Here I give you where things opened at, the midpoint, the high and low coming in to the morning that morning. Okay, and that's what you get in the morning. Sort of the overview and stocks that I'm looking at and stuff like that. But it's there, right there for you to look at and trade off of. Okay. Then the Magic 5, pivot number, new money maker. I post one in the evening. I didn't change it because that range I gave you was still valid. And I said 67.95, 67.45. Okay. And all the tickers that go along with that. Now, here's something I gave you today, NASDAQ futures. I was talking to a client this morning. He said, man, NASDAQ's real weak. And the market was screaming higher. I said, well, here's the big number, 251.95. The NASDAQ right now is 251.27. That's a warning sign that we got to be real careful going into Genesis today. Okay, that's a warning sign because the NASDAQ should be leading. And that's what that is. Okay. Special insight. NASDAQ's trading below where it should be trading, telling you there's a warning sign out there. Okay. I also like to see what is the news Wall Street's focusing on. Okay. And you look at that and you can see some big movers. NVIDIA, having a stalled deal, just things that rare earths. This got my attention. USA Rare Earth, I hadn't had time to research it yet, but I will about this particular stock. I've never traded it before, so I got to spend some time studying. Talked about AMD, a stock I really like. Okay. And these are the kind of things that, like energy. That's another stock I'll pick up and go research. Entergy. Okay. And it's something I post because I like to know what Wall Street's thinking. This is Wall Street's take on the world. Let me stop right there. How many people see the value of that? Everything I just went through. You think that might increase your success if you had that information? That's not including trades I do, but I'm just talking about the foundation each day. Carrie, I called you yesterday. Will you call me today? All right. It's a pretty organized there. There's the reference bar data that we post each time zone. Notice RB3 has that pivot number of 6772 on the S&P. We're above that still, going into Genesis. We put a daily rundown. Chuck handles this. Chuck, are you here?
Yeah, Tom, I'm in the room.
What would you tell him that you post this every day? What would you tell him your focus goes on by posting this?
Well, I think first of all, if you go down to the bottom of the page, we're looking at any news items that might be coming up. Government shutdown has been kind of a big impact. I thought one of the biggest things this morning was the absence of the employment situation reports, and I think that how the market reacts to that was kind of telling. Well, you can see we end up being a little bit bullish. And then we've got the headlines, that top part on T-Buzz today. Most of that is coming straight from that TNT channel. It's basically a recap bullet points from the TNT channel. And then, of course, those numbers, 67.75, the pivot. I agree with you completely on that one. I think you said 68.05. I was looking just 6,800 just because it's a nice round number. But basically.
By the way, let me give you a little history. Chuck's been with me for over 20 years. We've always been off. He always takes the even number, and I always take a number either a little bit above or a little bit below it. That's just the way we do it. It's a range.
And of course, that big support is the open of the month at 67.25.
Right.
So, like the numbers in that list are the numbers that I put together, but they are very, very similar to the numbers that Tom will put together. So you get kind of that comparison just to see how things are lining up, and they usually line up pretty on par. And then the market review section is basically these are the things you want to pay attention to today. And I'm trying to remember what we actually covered on that, because I got to be honest with you, Tom, I got the memory of a trader. As soon as the market opened, all the extracurricular stuff kind of went out the window, focused on the trading.
I got you, Chuck. Anyway, that's just sort of the value of this. It comes in there every day. You post it. It's pretty cool stuff.
Yeah. Now, also, I want to say in that TNT, if you caught the information on RB3, stressing the fact that the Russell futures had not made it up to that 2510.3 at that point, which was the September high, and since then, 2515 is now the high. So we are aware of the markets around us, and you'll find that awareness translated to you guys in that TNT Telegram room. So definitely keep an eye on that.
It's sort of like the way I look at TNT, it's like if you were sitting right here and you were sitting with me either face to face, whatever, I'm telling you what I'd be telling you. Okay. Focus on this. Hey, here's an opportunity, that kind of stuff. Okay. Now, Jonathan, I want you to go through this for everybody, the ATR, and make sure they understand. This is a great concept when you're trying to figure out a runaway market. Take it away.
Yeah, we did this on Micron Live just a minute ago, but the ATR stands for average true range. We use a 14-day simple average true range inside the roadmap. And on a 14-day basis, that's the S&P futures. It's at 59 points. So if we just go live, let's go live market again. And I'll circle the low of the day, 67.58. And I'll circle the ATR, 59. And let's see, you can see my roadmap. Let me make sure you can see the calculator as well. So the low of the day is 67.58 plus the ATR of 59 points equals 68.17. All right. We're trading during Genesis. How do you use this? We're trading during the Genesis bar right now. All right. We have a high on the day of 67.95. If we can get a continuation day today and see higher highs, we're going to first target that 68.05 number that Tom gave earlier, and then we'll target 68.17. All right. Now we have an advantage because we have the insights that Tom teaches us, like the importance of 68.05 or 68.45, for example. But 68.17, doing this practice is something that traders look at. So it's important to know. And it's a great way, if the market's going to new highs or falling to new lows, to try to start to predict where some potential resistance or support can step in.
Yeah, people have trades, they get in a trade and they don't know where to take profit. So I like to take it mathematically and say, hey, if I got out at 68.17 from being long, I'd be happy with that because that is the average top area that you should see. Okay. And, these are the kind of things that make you a better trader, because you're looking for, hey, you're so excited, you're making money and you can do this for stocks or whatever. But the bottom line is it brings you back to reality. Okay. It reverts back to, we got that 58, 59 points on the S&P based on 14-day average. And it's an average, but it gives you a ballpark. Okay. Like silver broke its resistance and took off. And I calculated, well, where should silver top out at? And I posted that into the trade room and said, this is where we go. And you look at silver and you can see silver topped out at 48.33, and silver's got, about $1.30 average true range. And so that $1.30, if you take it and do the math, it puts you there.
Yeah, this is very good. The 46.55 plus $1.25 is 47.80. That's where they found resistance right here.
Yeah.
See how that works? And they busted through, went to the next level up. But that's a picture says 1,000 words there.
Yeah, that's a prime example because it was clocking higher, right, David? Clocking higher, and you get so excited you forget sometimes that, hey, maybe I ought to take some profit and then get back in later after it corrects. The pivot number is like an equilibrium part, Manny, and we ought to post the white papers for the new people. If you want to post the white papers and just go through all that in detail, Manny, we'll give it to you. Okay, we're just showing up. You'll put it into the room.
Now, I'm posting those now, and I don't want to forget about Chuck's posting. It just gave us into the chat. So let me explain that. Okay, there's your white papers. Chuck says 68.17 is 100 points above last week's open. Now, if I go back to the S&P futures, some of you have probably recognized that a lot of times we may not say 67.91. We might just say 91 or 45. You hear that all the time, 45. A lot of times we take the last two numbers only as the numbers that we're focusing on, that traders will focus on. So that's something you see often, actually, is, if we open a week at, whatever number, 100 points, that round 100-point number up or down can also act as support and resistance. All this is insights that, Tom has learned over the years, and they repeat over and over again. It's pretty fascinating. So let us know if you learned something today. Type yes in the chat if you learned anything today. Try to give you at least one thing to go away from today and you can use in your trading going forward. All right, Tom, that's what we want to see. A bunch of yeses.
Yep. Got some more slides?
We sure do. Let me go back to the slides. We'll keep this train and trade session rolling. Back to you, Tom.
And you know, we keep putting insights into the TNT room, and I made a point to say crude oil keeps dropping. The new pivot number 60.70, and I said silver's in the resistance. It's all about market timing, being able to take advantage of things, and you know, you go flat. That was after taking all that profit this morning, and I said I'll wait to Genesis, and I said that earlier. The key time to watch today is Genesis, and I'm watching it right now as it develops. And Genesis is the time from 11:30 to 12. And here's a little rule for the new people: 4 out of 5 days it marks a high or a low. The 1 out of 5 it's a continuation or big day. So we're about to find out pretty soon as we close it out. Genesis time frame. Pretty good stuff in when you think about everything we do in TNT. You learn this, you'll be a better trader. Okay? Absolutely. So a lot of people are probably saying, okay, here's something I told Jonathan. If you, and this is an example of what you should do, just go back and look at all the Genesis time frames this week. You'll see what I was saying earlier about this seems to be the 10 o'clock time frame, the 12 o'clock time frame is really front and center this week with the Senate voting during this time thing. It is a game changer. I agree with you.
So yesterday we went through, and this slide shows it, how to figure out, do we have a continuation day or a reversal day? And yesterday's market would be a very good one to review if you need to. And you can go to dtitrader.com/YouTube, dtitrader.com/YouTube, which takes you to the YouTube page, and then click on the live tab, and you'll find the recordings from Train and Trade. All right. So someone asked how to find the recordings. That's how you find those.
Notice that's when, once it broke higher in Genesis, I started setting trades up to make money. Look at that. Right there, front and center. I said, we've seen the low, let's make some money. That's what we did all the way to the close.
Sure did. And we go to the live market here today.
Might do it again.
We are 8 minutes or 9 minutes or so, 8 or 9 minutes until this white Genesis bar forms. Currently, the high is on the bar is 95 and the low is 86.
Let's finish up the slides and we can go live at the end, because I want people, if they want to join the TNT room, get in there, because this afternoon is going to be really good. So let's, you got some more slides here? Okay, let's summarize everything you'll get if you join. T-Buzz Talking Trade. Market direction. How many times, let me ask some of the students, how many times did I keep you on the right side of the market? Say 80%, 90%, or 100%? People inside the TNT. How many times did I keep you on the right side of the market? That's a good question to ask. Okay. John's new. He said 100% so far. Well, about 90 to 80, 80 to 90 is a good number, I think. 80 to 90. You think that's an advantage, knowing the direction each day? Wall Street said you couldn't do it. Carol says you got to listen. Pretty good stuff. My pre-market watch this is really my Magic 5, where I'll give you those 5 stocks that I'm trading. Every now and then we'll have a special session on, hey, let's get together and talk about what's going on. You know, maybe during a Fed meeting or something like that, we'll do it. Okay. And then the reference bar trading that we use around the clock. And a lot of people always say they would like to make income. Anybody here like to make income? Well, we have a little series inside TNT shows you how to use the information and have income. Better than Social Security, the way I would say it. Okay. You join by going dtitrader.com/TNT. It's $200 a month. You can cancel anytime. If you're going to join today, let me know, and I might give you a welcome call if you want one, if you join today. I like to talk to people inside TNT. I think I've talked to everybody that's a member in there. If I haven't, I'll do it. Try to get a good plan for you personally. Yeah, if you join, yeah, definitely. Just put your name and number if you join in here today, and I'll try to get around and give you a ring and welcome you to TNT. Any questions about this? Put your name and number, and I'll give you a call. What I say to people, if you won't join this, you probably don't want to make money, in my opinion, because this is probably one of the ways in this modern age of technology that we really take advantage of it. And I think about that all the time because, we're all trying to have that edge. And I think I get feedback when I talk to people and say, yeah, I can add that, or no, I can't do that. Okay. Gotcha, Shoba. One of the students just says one of the best programs you ever be part of. Thank you for saying that. We do a lot of work there. We got 3 people, me, Jonathan, and Chuck, keeping you informed around the clock. It's pretty good stuff, I'd say. It's not just short-term stuff. We got swing stuff, long-term, and every trade that we make in Train and Trade is tracked there. Plus, we do other trades too. So it's not limited, is what I'm saying. Yeah, there's no cost for joining our retirement plan. Hey, here's what you want to do. Who would like to have better results at the end of the year in their retirement money? Tell me yes or no. Better results in your retirement money by the end of the year. Okay. Well, make sure you're a member of dtitrader.com/TNT because I got a real good focus going on retirement money inside there. Okay, get joined. And Jonathan, we got about 3 minutes before we complete and everything. So you might want to, here's one thing that if they don't pass today and reopen the government, if they don't do it today and reopen the government, I would expect this afternoon there might be some news out of the White House slashing and burning a lot of programs. I would expect that to happen this afternoon. Just from a negotiation standpoint, my guess, a lot of programs will go to the wayside this afternoon. Maybe they give them one more chance today, and that's it. Hey, Jean Marie, are you coming to the class Monday? Perfect. Michael asked, do I wait till Genesis closes before I take trades? Not necessarily. Not necessarily. Because I'm looking at right now, why don't we do this? Why don't we go to a live market, Jonathan, and bring up the E-mini?
Okay. 30-minute chart of the E-mini.
If you look at it, we're coming into Genesis making highs. Everybody see that? So right now, you're at the top end of the Genesis bar, which is acting like it's going to be a continuation day. Has anybody heard any news on the vote? They delayed it to 130, Henry. The reason I ask that because on a typical day, you'll see this market roll over, but it's staying near the high of the bar, two bars. Throw the NASDAQ in there. Let's look at the NASDAQ.
All right, that's the NASDAQ.
What'd you say, Jonathan?
That's the NASDAQ futures right there.
And the high, it would to be a continuation day. It'd have to take out that, what is that, 251.70 area?
Yeah, that's exactly right.
Yeah. All right, go back to the E-mini. Can you stretch that out a little bit where they can see it better? Yeah, my bar is red after Genesis at the top there. Huh. On a continuation day, usually there's a blast where it blasts and goes up, is clearly broken the top and all that. On a reversal day, it looks a lot like this, where it reverses, where it stays up here, tries to lure you in, and then it rolls over. Doesn't have to, but it usually takes more time. By 12:30, we'll get the answer. So, folks, I hope we laid it out for you. Thank you. I'll be back at 2 with my retirement people, and you want to be part of that, be part of it. And I think that's just the way we'll do it.
Yeah, Tom, 2 o'clock retirement and then 3 o'clock weekly wrap up.
Full schedule.
We'll see everybody then.
Been a great audience. Thank you. And I don't know if he's going to replay everything for everybody or not.
Yeah, I can do that. Let me
Okay.
cue that up and then we'll do that. Yep.